I realize that the things that we deem as problems or insecurities or, personal challenges are really just God's opportunity for him to work in on us in that specific area. Whew, I know that was loaded. How can I break that down for you? Say you're in a relationship and every time your significant other does something, it really bothers you. But not bothers you because it really bothers you. We think it bothers us based off the act, right? Based off of what they've done. But the reality is that we're bothered on a much deeper level than just the physical thing. We're bothered internally and personally. Somehow what they did triggered something in you that hurt you or bothered you or set you off. And because of it, you feel so deeply. You feel so attacked. You feel so hurt, so disrespected. You feel such emotion. And the offense may not even be that great. The offense may not even be that serious. It may not even be that deep. It might just be a small surface kind of offense, that they made against you. But for whatever reason, it set us over the top. You would have thought that they just did the most unspeakable act to you. Have you ever stopped to think about that? Like you feel so deeply about something that, let's not invalidate your feelings, is a big deal and is important and does need to be properly addressed, but may not even really be that big of an issue on the surface. It's just a small offense. It's just common relationship stuff or man stuff, or ignorance, right? But to you, it's just, you have one more time, right? And if that is the response every single time, we have to stop and look at why. Because is it really that horrible? Is it really require all of that? Most cases, I don't think it does. But we like to play the victim. We like to soak it all up, when we've been wronged and we want someone to know. We like to take advantage of the moment when the ball is in our court because, we want things to be made right. We want to feel better. We want an apology. We want justice. And that's not always a bad thing. However, if your response to big or small issues is always over the top, you have some deeper underlining realizations that you need to come to. And one of those is that that's a weak spot for you that wasn't truly highlighted or explained, beforehand, up until the point until you got in a committed relationship or you got married or you became a parent or a grandparent. There are things that happen that bother us. And then there are things that happen that just get under our skin, no matter how small or big the offense, no matter where. no matter who. It just sets us off the same way every single time. And it's like, okay, something needs to be addressed. Something needs to be done. And the thing that needs to be done is first being aware that your response to that isn't healthy. Secondly, it's an area for improvement. And it clearly highlights the deficiency, the insecurity, the issue, the fleshliness that's in you. They say people bring things out of you, and that we are a reflection of the people that we marry or that we're in relationship with or that we hang around. And I believe that that's true to a certain extent. But what is true is how you respond to the things that other people do that involve you, to the things that people say to you, especially the people that love you and who you're married to or in a relationship with. How you respond to that can showcase where you're at in that particular area as it results to handling the situation in a godly manner, in a loving manner, in a kind and respectful and understanding, peaceful manner. I heard that marriage teaches you a lot about yourself because it shows you the things that bother you. It brings out the things that a single person, you being a single person, can't. You know, there's a different layer to you, but you don't fully get to experience it and truly realize it until you're put in certain positions. And then you start responding and reacting to certain things, and then you're just like, wait, who am I even? Like, you don't even recognize this person. Like, you're being set off, you're being bothered. You're moody, you have an attitude, you know, you're closed off. Like, your responses just are out of character, it feels. And I know that nobody wants to be like that all the time because it's exhausting. It's not fun. You know, like, it's always something. It's just a drag. So it's like, okay, I didn't know that, excuse me, I needed to work in all of these areas until ... for such a time as this, right? So if you think about your relationships or your marriage or, you know, your spouse, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, if you think about certain things that really just push your buttons, that really aren't like that big of a deal if you think about it, be honest with yourself. Would you say that there are some areas that could use some improvement? My guess would be yes, because I have those areas too. Shoots. I am by no means perfect, right? But I also know that it's not always me, right? Just like I know that it's not always you, and you know that too. But for the times that it is, that's what we need to focus on. That's what we need to control better. That's what we need to look at and figure out why, for one, am I responding this way? Why, for two, does it always get me so riled up? And for three, how can I fix this? How can I better control this? How can I stop being like this altogether? Right? Because there's always an alternative option. There's always a positive. If there's a negative, then there is always a positive. If there's a problem, then there's always a solution. And I think that a lot of people don't think about it from that perspective. So if something is being done negatively to you, just know that something can also be done positively, right? I look at it like this. And I recently started to look at it like this because I am recently married. And so the me that I was when I was single, well, that person is dead completely, right? Because I wasn't experiencing anything of this caliber that required me to have to think with a deeper and bigger perspective, right? Up until now that I'm married, the way that I see it is, all right, regardless of what this person is saying to me, I should be able to respond in a manner that still allows me to keep my character intact, that still allows me to move from a place of love, and that still allows me to be respectful and kind and communicate with maturity and have peace while I'm doing it. Now, what I just said was a mouthful, right? So the fact that I'm not always responding that way, even though I want to, that just clearly shows and tells me that I still have some work to do with God in this particular area as it results to, X, Y, and Z, whatever it may be. A lot of times we think if we're getting pressed or mad or pissed off or bothered or annoyed, that it's always the other person or it's always something that is being done. And it's not necessarily the act as much as it is the takeaway, right? It's less about the act and it's more about the response. It's more about how you handle the situation. If you're not handling situations well, you have some work to do. Because no one should be able to get you that pissed off and that pressed. I understand, at times we reach our boiling point. At times we've just had a day. We're frustrated. We're just at our wits' end. We can't take much more. We're emotional. Maybe we're on our period. Maybe there's other things going on, within our family that's affected our mood or whatever. Regardless of what it is, though, if your character is unwavering and you know how to communicate efficiently, respectfully, and in a loving manner, we should be able to keep it together no matter what is being said or done, big or small. Now that is an art. Being able to get to that level of self-control and discipline and awareness requires immense intentionality and also a lot of failing. Let's see. It gets better. It gets easier as it gets harder. There we go. It gets easier as it gets harder. It's never going to stop pissing you off and bothering you and making you mad and feeling like it's a personal attack. Like, these things are going to happen. We are sinful people, and if we do life with other sinful people, no matter how much they love us, they're going to disappoint us and fail us and piss us off. That's a fact. So already get that in your head. And then we say, oh, well, if you love me, you shouldn't do that. That's not true. If that was true, we wouldn't be human. We wouldn't be us. We would be Jesus and we would be God. We would be perfect and blameless and faultless and holy, right? And can do no wrong. That is not the case for us. The fact of the matter is, we, just like our significant others or our husbands or whatever, our wives, we're going to do something to hurt each other's feelings. We're going to make each other mad. We're going to be disrespectful to each other at one point or another. We're going to fail someone. We're going to disappoint them. That's the inevitable. But that's not where our focus should be. Our focus should be on how we respond, on how we retaliate, on how we can resolve, right? So our response is something that we can control. Nobody makes you do anything. You are in control of yourself. And if you think you're not, you've been lying to yourself, and you need to face the facts and take some accountability and stop acting like it's everyone else when it's really just you. That's the first thing you need to do. Admit that you're the problem. I don't care if other people are causing problems. That is true, right? That can be true. But you are also the problem for playing the victim and acting like you're doing all these things because the other person is. Stop. Pause. That is childish. That is not a mature response. That is not a strategic, well thought out, intentional, focused, God-derived response. God-derived response, a godly response. That's an emotional, leaning on my own understanding, moving by my feelings kind of response. A fleshly response, a quick, fast, rash, hasty response. Those things get you in trouble. They trip you up, and then they create a facade reality of what the real issue is here at play. The problem is not that things are happening to you and that people are making you mad or sad or whatever. The problem is how you're taking it and responding to it. It's not easy, let me tell you. My gosh. We love to be mad. We're really good at doing the wrong thing. Why do you think Jesus came, to die for us? My gosh. Why do you think God was like, yo, they are cray-cray down there. I need you to get down there stat. I know you don't want to do it. It's a big ask, but I need you to basically kill yourself, for these people who really don't deserve it, who don't respect you, who probably will never come to know you or love you, and who you don't even really know. But because I'm telling you to do this, I need you to do this for me. He's like, all right, that's a big ask, but for you, I got you, God. I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? So, point in case, we love to be stuck in our way. When I'm mad, sometimes I just revel in that. Not because it feels good, just because it's so easy for me to stay there. It's natural. It feels natural. And it feels natural because we were born into sin. It's our nature, right? Even though God sent his son Jesus to die for our sins, we are free from that. That doesn't mean that we still don't have to actively choose to be good, because we do. We still have to make those good choices. We still have to choose good. And sometimes we don't, because we're so good at being snippy and sassy and wanting things to go our way and pouting and being mad and cutting people off and throwing up our guard and not letting anybody in. Oh, trust me. Like, once I get in a funk and you did something to put me there, see, here we go. You did something to put me there. Like, I can stay there. I really can. The only thing that gets me out of it is God. God convicts me and lets me know, like, hey, that's not cute. That's not what we're about, okay? That's not how we move. And he reminds me of his truths and his promises and his words and his commandments. And it's like, dang, okay. And then I have to get over myself, acknowledge that I was wrong, apologize, ask God to forgive me, and keep it moving. We can't keep playing the victim, even when other people are at fault. We can control how we respond to them and realize that the way that we have been responding or acting in certain situations isn't healthy and it isn't godly, and it is just an opportunity for God to work in on us in that specific area, to grow us and to make us better, to strengthen us, to give us whatever it is we need in order to maintain control and move from a place of love, even when we're mad, even when we've been wronged, even when we've been hurt, to continue to give grace and to continue to give forgiveness and to continue to be understanding and be at peace as you communicate and articulate certain things to people about how they've hurt you or how they've made you feel. There's a way to do that. There's a proper way to do that. There's a proper way to do everything. And it's in the Bible. The Bible. Yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the word of God. The Bible. Bible. If you know, you know. But that's the reality. So take a look at yourself and your relationships and see like what's triggering you and what's setting you off. Is it big? Is it small? Regardless of how big or small it is, are you in control? Is someone controlling you? Is someone making you do these things? No. You're doing those things. You're allowing those things to happen. You're choosing to respond that way and to act out that way. And that doesn't make it right. That makes it an opportunity for God to change you. That makes it an opportunity for you to realize that if you know better, you do better, because eventually God will not be able to bless your sin. And that gives you something else to realize, to work towards. And it will save you a lot of trouble, honestly, in time. Because then you're not being mad and bothered and upset about every freaking little thing. And trust me, I know what that's like. I'm in a serious self-work masterclass. I'm married. My gosh. All I can do is face the facts that I am inadequate, that I am not perfect, that I don't have it all together, that I don't properly respond to things the way that I'm supposed to, that I am selfish, that I do have pride. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to look in the mirror, get married. If you want to smell your poop all day long and see where you're at fault and where you're coming up short and where you need to give a little more or do a little less, gee whiz, man. Just get married. It's literally it. But the beauty of that is that you're not just married to a physical person, you're married to Christ, which is gorgeous. Because even though you are all of those things and you have all of these deficiencies, he still loves you and gives you grace and mercy. And that's what convicts you and encourages you and inspires you and uplifts you and motivates you to want to be better for yourself and for God, but then also too for your relationship and your marriage. That's why it's important to work on the things that get you out of character, to work on the things that make you mad, to work on, those things that you feel like you're not in control of. It's important to get those things ironed out because it affects everything. And any way you cut it, it all goes back to God. It's all about God. Once you grow in a relationship with Christ, you'll realize everything's about God. It's always been about God. It's never not been about him. So your mom or your grandma or your auntie or your friend who's always like, well, God this and God, they were right. Yep, they were right. It is all about God. Always has been, always will be. It's how it was orchestrated. So it's not always the other person. And even if it is, your focus is skewed. Your focus should be on yourself and your deficiencies and your problems and your issues. And that's obviously easier said than done, especially when you're doing life with another person. You see them, you talk to them, you learn them, you have history, you've experienced things with them, you're in a relationship with them. It is very hard to separate the two. But that's why having your relationship with God is so important, because he helps you to be able to better manage that. It's a balancing act. You can't get good at it without first being terrible at it. And honestly, that feels like dying every single day. It's it's a real conundrum. Yet we do it. We put ourselves through this willingly. So, I know this applies to everyone. Everyone's got something. Nobody's perfect. Fix your crap, man. Plain and simple. Fix your problems. And next time you're in a discussion or a debate or something happens to you while you're out and about just randomly, or, your significant other or a friend does something to bother you or upset you, think about this in that moment. Think about the way that you're getting ready to respond and try and keep your cool, right? Or maybe just stop, take a few breaths, take a step back, walk away from the situation and be like, yo, I'll get back to you in 3 to 5 business days. Because not responding the way you normally would is a huge, huge, huge step forward. Okay? It's progress. We're not going to be perfect right away. You also got to give yourself some grace. So, don't worry about controlling other people. Focus on controlling yourself. Don't allow anything to disturb your peace or get you out of character or ruffle your feathers and piss you off to the point where the whole day is damned. That's what the enemy wants. He wants to steal your joy. He wants to steal your peace. He wants to break up things that are grounded in love, things that are good, things that are pure and beautiful, things that are from God. Good things. Don't let him do that, and don't allow him to use you, because when we do that, we allow him to use us. We let ourselves be used by him when we get moody and shut down, when we go off on people. You know what I mean? When we have an attitude, when we cuss somebody out, when we do things that we're not proud of. We've allowed the enemy to come in and use our body as a host. And we all have that moment, most of us at least, where we come back and we're like, dang, that wasn't right. We feel bad. And sometimes when you feel bad, you respond with an apology or you take accountability. But there's a lot of people out there who don't and who want to. And that is something that you need to get over, because that is going to eat you up alive, bite you in the butt, and you're not going to benefit from that. If you can't forgive and move on, how do you expect to be forgiven? God can't forgive you if you can't forgive first. Even if the other person didn't apologize. You have to forgive because you have to be obedient. Because that's the right thing to do. Because God said, period. Because God said. So, check yourself, check your heart, check your temperament, see where you're at, and remember this. Remember this conversation next time you're in, which I know you will be, Lord Jesus. Because people, let me tell you, they don't make it easy. They do not make it easy to be nice and to be kind and to be patient. So, think of this the next time you're in a sitch, and thank me later. You'll never get better if you don't start. So, that's all I had to say. Short and sweet. I love you. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening to Ready or Not with Visual. Ready or Not with Visual. Your main squeeze. Your hostess with the mostest. Y'all be encouraged. Be easy. Be loved. Be light. Be blessed. Be for real. I'll see you on the next episode. Don't forget to do all the things to follow me and to stay in touch with me. Bye.